The truth can hurt you, or the truth can change you. What will truth do to you?
And handsome listeners, how are you today? How has your day been? Mine has been beautiful with the help of God. You are welcome to your reality radio talk show, Beautiful Mind. This is the show where we say no to stigmas, discriminations, and any judgmental attitudes. Our aim is to spread hope to all men through love. This show is to educate, entertain, and to benefit our souls. It is the show that aims to align our thoughts to the way God proposes it to be. Beautiful Mind says we all must see the way God sees. So you're welcome on board. Why don't you grab yourself a cup of tea, hot chocolate, water, coffee, soup, whatsoever that makes you feel comfortable wherever you're watching us from or listen from. Please sit down and come along with us. And if you're on your way back from work, driving, and listen via our radio, our online radio, please drive with care as you enjoy this show. Remember that you can connect and contribute on this show on 079-603-91983. I repeat that. And if you're calling outside UK, please put +44 790 91983. Thank you very much. You can also connect with us on Peace and Joy radio station or on our Instagram, Beautiful Mind Online, or on our Facebook page, Beautiful Mind Online. You can also tweet us at Beauty_Mind. Remember that you can connect, contribute, and comment on our Facebook page on Beautiful Mind, even whilst the show is live. Comment, contribute, share your views. We want to hear what you have to say about this program today. Yes, I am so excited about today's topic. I don't know about you. I know I say this every time, but this particular topic we're treating today is one that is so dear to my heart. And the topic is sickle cell disease, too blessed to be cursed. You know, some of us, we see it as a curse, but we are telling you today, they are blessed. And after today's show, I believe that stigma, that stereotypical, idea is going to be taken away from us today. They are blessed, not cursed. Yes, and I have, for the very first time, here in the studios of Peace and Joy, Chantal with me today. She will be helping us on today's topic. Chantal, I know you're a bit, but some of our viewers and listeners do not know you. Can you please, introduce yourself? What you do, what you want them to know about you.
Hi, so I'm Chantal, and I have sickle cell. It's important to state that it doesn't have me, but I have it, and I try to control it as best as I can, really. And my main aim, really, has always been to kind of raise a level of understanding to not just those that have the condition, but to those outside of as well, because I think it's relevant just to the community in general.
So true.
Even if you don't have sickle yourself, at some point in your life you may come across somebody who may have sickle, or a family member who may have sickle, even a work colleague. So that's what my main aim is just to kind of raise that awareness and get rid of the negative connotation that goes with having sickle cell. And I don't even use the word disease, even though that's what it's clinically known. It's sickle cell at a dis-ease within your body.
Wow, I love that.
No, I didn't come up with it. It was my colleague, actually. It was my colleague from Sickle Cell Care. But yeah, so
that's nice. Yeah. I'll be able to change that today. Yes, my name is Adeyenka Adewume, for those of you that do not know me, and I am your host of this beautiful program, Beautiful Mind. So please, we are welcome. Make yourself feel comfortable. Find a very comfortable position to sit, because today's show is going to be informative and educative all true. And I bet you do not want to miss this show for anything. So please help us share this video, because I believe it is going to educate someone, liberate somebody, set somebody free, create that awareness out in a community today. So please help us share this video. Yes, Chantal, you're very welcome on Beautiful Mind. I want you to, please, could you start off by, telling us a little bit about this condition that you've got?
Okay, so sickle cell for me, and I think you'll find, I know you've had some other people before with sickle. I was watching a few videos.
Yeah.
And you'll find that every sickle individual has sickle differently. So for me, my sickle cell affects me which is overall with all sickle really, with pains within the joints. And mine are specifically within my right hand side.
Wow.
So it will be either in my arm or topically from hip, like right down to my big toe.
Wow.
Will just, be in really bad excruciating pain. It feels frozen.
Wow.
Like I've got bags of ice just on my leg. Is one of like the most common pains that I have. Another indicator for my sickle is also weather changes as well, so kind of viruses, because the immune system tends to be quite low anyway. And so I tend to come up with viruses quite quickly. Also, one of the big things with having sickle is that it can cause organ failure. Yeah, not a lot of, so I was blessed with having kidney failure, had a transplant.
Okay, we're gonna go into the footage later as the show progresses. Has this affected your life in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be almost impossible for it not to. It's affected me kind of socially, through my education as well. Throughout kind of socially, it's been, I've noticed that's how you can tell who your true friends are, and so it's quite good for me, because then I know like who's here just kind of for the fun and who's here for me.
Wow.
When it comes to those hospital visits and there's nobody by your bedside except for your family, God. And so it takes me quite a while to kind of warm to somebody, so I'm kind of, trying to measure out whether you're really
real.
I
can understand that.
Yeah. So it does take a while to kind of get through that, and I'm understanding. I could be sat in that chair and I'm absolutely fine, and I'll sit over here and I'm in agony. Like the pain can come on so quickly.
Wow.
It takes people. That's quite strange or difficult for people to understand.
To be there.
Yeah, especially when you don't look sick or I'm walking around fine. So again, that's something that's friends have found quite difficult
to deal with.
To kind of understand and to deal with that. But I mean, I've just tried to not let it kind of hinder me, and I know that what friends I do have are the best friends ever.
That's good. Shout out to Chantal's friend. Wow. Thank you very much for that. So should couples who have sickle children be condemned for being selfish in their loving, by marrying despite the medical condition, or warning about genotype, incompatibility? Some people before they get married, they check about the genotype and they know that they are incompatible. Should they still go ahead and, because they love each other and marry each other, should they be condemned for that?
I think condemned is a very, very, very strong word. I think that two people who love each other can provide that love to a child without them having to do, without having to have a natural birth or a natural child, a paternal or gene type child. That's my kind of opinion on that, just because for me I wouldn't feel comfortable with passing on my situation onto another child and then them having to live through that. So yeah, there's always other sources of having a child.
So you're saying they can't go ahead and marry each other? They're not being selfish?
They can marry, I think. Yeah, they can marry, but to have children, I wouldn't say that was a wise means to have children. No.
Right. I have heard some people don't know, they have it, and they go through life without any episode or any symptoms. Okay. Is that true?
If you have the sickle cell trait, that can be true. Yeah.
So how old were you when you find out that you had sickle cell traits in you, or you find out?
Yeah, well, there's a bit of a dispute between myself and my mother, and I have to take on that my mum probably knows best.
Okay.
I say it was 16 months, my mum says it was 18 months.
Okay.
We'll say, it was between them. And it was just as a baby, I was very kind of crying all the time. Even to be lifted, I would cry because it would physically hurt me.
Wow.
And again, I'd come down with a lot of infections as well, and was constantly in and out of my GP, and it was finally, I'd been referred to the hospital and was tested, and that's when they found out that I had sickle cell disease.
Wow. So how were you able to cope, through school, life, and general sickle cell? How were you able to cope?
You just do. It's the honest truth. I don't think you cope through things, as with anything, as best you can, and then I think having God on my side has been a massive help. Has been, I know that I wouldn't even have the guts to kind of come onto a radio station and talk about it.
So true.
Without that, because he is the healer, and so yes, I do have this condition, but I feel that he's healed my mind to believe that it's not necessarily a hindrance.
Wow.
So I think that's one of the things that gets me through it, and that makes me not see it as such a negative thing. So no, things aren't easy. Education wasn't easy. I remember I think it was in the third or fourth year of secondary school, I was in hospital when my kidney failure first began for like 2 months.
Oh my God.
And that was at times when I'm, studying for my GCSEs and what have you. And the hospital were a massive help. My teachers brought in papers for me to study with. It did mean that I didn't get to study all of my GCSEs, but we did like the core subjects, which I passed those. It's meant that, I would have times off from school, from college and what have you, because I've either been in hospital or at home. With crisis pain.
Wow.
But again, it's always like, when you're in the midst of it, it's like, why me? Why am I in such pain? When will it end? But it is going to end.
Wow.
So you almost have to kind of not sit. You have to kind of sit in it and just wait for that to pass. So I'll do a lot of meditation, I'll do a lot of reading, to see what he's saying about it. Because sometimes you can just open the Bible and there'll be a scripture and it's like, like, how did you know?
Yeah.
So that's always a comfort for me.
Wow.
But yeah, you just do. You just do.
I thank God for the grace of God upon your life. And if you're watching and you know anybody that, passing through this kind of situation, you can just pray for the grace of God upon their lives. I believe that's what you can do right now for them. Some people believe that, sickle or sickle cell is a spirit rather than an inherited genetic condition. In Nigeria, you need to listen to this here. In Nigeria, they used to refer, to those with sickle cell as Ogbanje, Emere, and, Abiku. And I'll tell you the meaning. Yeah. The meaning of that is that they have the power to die and to reborn again. Can that assumption be true?
No.
I can see you sitting there uncomfortable.
No.
Because back in them days, I don't know if you're from Nigeria and you're watching or listening, so please, I really want your input on this. Don't leave me alone on this now. I really want your input. They believe that as a sickle cell, they because they don't have the technology, the medical is not that advanced to let them know that these children actually have the sickle cell traits in them. They believe they are a biku, and a biku is a child that a parent will give birth to, and they will just die suddenly.
Wow.
And the parents will get pregnant again, and they believe the child is being reborn again.
Okay.
And Ogbanje is like somebody that there's Mame Water, like a mermaid, this princess mermaid. They think they die and they're reborn again. So they believe that's what these sickle cellers are. Is that true?
Not to my knowledge. No. This is a whole new education. No, I refute that one.
You need to research about that if you don't just hearing it for the first time. So can it be the will of God then?
Can it be the will of God? Wow.
Or is it a deliberate punishment from God?
Okay, it's not a punishment.
Okay.
I will say it's not a punishment. I will question. I have difficulty with it being the will of God because I know God has already decided on who I am before I was born.
Yeah.
So in that instance, God has decided that I'm going to have sickle. I'm going to assume. So in that, I would say it's not a curse, it's a blessing because God gave it to me. Quite surely everything God has given to me is a blessing.
Wow.
That's the only way I can really say that.
Thank you very much, Rose, for joining us this evening. He said, I am a carrier myself, discovered when having my last child. My God. My 2 sons are carriers, so very keen to know more. Thanks for bringing up these topics and brilliant guest speakers. Thank you very much for that, Runs. Thank you, Ehino, for joining us this afternoon. Favor, thank you very much for joining us. If I can't see you, please type, just say something so that I can know you're watching, and I will say a shout out to you. Thank you very much. So have you ever, Chantal, asked this question before? God, why does it have to be me? Why did you choose me? No. Wow. So you just accepted it as your cross.
Yeah. I mean, it's already, because I still believe it's a genetic condition. It would have just been dependent upon what strain of the condition I had. So it's already been given to me, and I have to accept that, learn to live with that, and it's through family, close friends, and obviously through God that I am able to kind of accept that.
Wow.
So
I have to say this to you. I don't really know Chantal that well, but you saying that, you touch something in me, Seriously, because sometimes we see people, even they're not going through half of what you're going through, and they're asking God, why me? Why does it have to be me? Why does it have to be the next person?
I think sometimes we ask too many questions. Why can we not just accept things for what they are and learn to live with them?
Wow. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us this afternoon. And would you advise parents to stop giving their children medication because God is able to miraculously heal them? Because again, this is coming from an African faith-based parent. And I've heard somebody say, I'm not going to give my child a sickle cell, medication because I believe God is going to heal them of this disease. You said not to say disease now. What should I say?
We can still go with that for now. Find a whole new word. I don't understand why they have to be two separate things. Can they not work cohesively? So even if it's, you wake up in the morning and you say, or at least I say, like my morning prayers, my morning affirmations, and then you go and take your medication. God's covered you. So whatever your medications you've been prescribed, are you not already covered by His Holy Spirit already? I don't like that. I don't know. I think that's my opinion on it, and it's it's been a long time relationship that I've had with, taking medication, would I personally ever not while it's working?
Wow. Thank you very much. This is just a big warning to all our viewers and listeners. And if you know anybody at all, there's a carrier or that's got the traits, please tell them not to stop using their medication.
No.
They should continue using their medication until the medical practitioner or medical help says stop using it, until you are advised to stop using your medication. Please do not stop medication. Am I saying you should not have faith? No. Am I saying God cannot heal you? No. Am I saying God does not work in the miraculous field? No. He is an healer and he will heal you. But please, until you are advised by your medical doctor not to take your medications, please continue taking them, even when you have faith that you've been healed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ehino, for joining us this evening. Ehino said, yes, those days they used to stigmatize them as people with marine spirit, but over 30 years now, they now know in Nigeria that sickle cell has nothing to do with evil spirit. More aware now. Thank you very much for that. Olayola is saying that in the past, sickle cell survivors were tagged evil spirit because of lack of knowledge. Women were killed or rejected in the society for giving birth to children who died after a few years. Thanks to civilization, Abiku Ogbanje, and so on, are faded away. Knowledge is key. Thank you very much for that. Yes, Ehino is saying again, people should learn to accept and go for help. Thank you very much for that. Chantal, science is able to detect babies with this disease from the womb. So, would you advise a Christian to consider termination if given the option? Because these days now, they can tell if your child has got any disease at all, and they can give you like an advice. Are you willing to? They'll tell you everything that you will have to go through, you have to pass through with this child, and they will give you like an advice. Do you want to carry this cross, or will you want us to terminate this pregnancy just to save you that pain? Can people go for this option, or would you advise people to go for this option?
I mean, are we assuming that this person has already had their gene type, and so they know?
They know that they're carrier,
and they have okay. I mean, I think it's quite careless to get pregnant then in the first instance. I mean, personally, if unless you're going down that step of, I am aware I have sickle, I am aware that my child is going to have sickle, and we're going to fight this thing together. Then no, I don't. I would not go with the termination option. I just think it's something that has to be vigorously discussed between husband and wife, if that's something that you feel you both can withstand, if you feel that what you're now about to do for your child is the best thing to do. I think if you haven't had that agreement before the moment you decide you're going to try to have a child, like, to me, that's one of the first things you would ever discuss, and it shouldn't have to wait until the point of one pregnant child.
Thank you. That's the bit I really wanted to go, really, and you just nailed it. I believe for the two of you to come together, you must have known your genotype, and you know what you are getting yourself involved in, and for you to not get to the stage of pregnancy and not saying I want to terminate it. Hang on, I will question that.
That's just putting yourself and your husband through undue stress.
Exactly. Thank you very much for that. Ehino is saying, I have friends and family members who are SS and they're doing well because they take their medications. Thank you very much for that, Ehino. The Bible says that love covereth or conquers all. Should two people in love bother about their genotypes? Once I'm in love, because people say love happens whenever it's not expected, and you don't you don't know sometimes who you fall in love with. So, and they believe that love conquers all, you know. So should they go ahead and get married without bothering about the genotype?
That's selfish.
That's selfish. I really wanted to say that out loud, Chantal.
Sorry, I have no filter. I apologise. I think that when two come together and they decide, right, we're starting to get a bit serious, and this could be something that's going to lead to marriage. Then your gene type should have been tested before you've gotten to that stage. Once you both feel that this is something more than dating. So yeah, I think to then it's difficult because love is difficult.
It's difficult.
It's
I know.
very difficult, and it's something I've only ever experienced once, and especially first love's always difficult to get over. But I think, I think for me, you would have to have that discussion before it got too
serious.
So you will still love each other, but the love won't be as deep, I would say, if you waited until further down the line.
Thank you very much, Chantal.
Yeah.
Please help us share this video, because I believe Chantal here, she shared something with me when I did a pre-interview for this show. And I can't wait for her to share this with the whole world. She mentioned briefly now about love, and you just need you need to wait on when we get to that stage when she will be sharing about this love thing that actually happens to her. So please help us share this video, because you might just be saving one life. I tell people you need to share our shows on your walls. Sometimes it might not be for you. Sometimes we think, I don't need it. I'm not a sickle cell. I'm not a carrier. I don't have the trait. But you might share it on your wall to save just one person. So please help us share this video this evening, because I believe it's going to liberate somebody. It's going to set somebody free. Right, Chantal, in your own opinion, is it okay for a church to refuse to join two people together who are sickle cell carriers in marriage? I have heard of this before.
I was going to say, is that actually a thing? Is that...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For the church to refuse to sickle...
Two people, they love each other, and these days, before church would join you together, they'll ask you to go and do all the tests that you are supposed to do, to know that this guy doesn't have HIV, to know that, your blood group, and all of that. And now the two of you have come back to the church to say, we are both SS.
Right.
And they want to get married, and they love each other. Is it okay for the church to say, hang on, we can see danger in this marriage in the future, and we are refusing to join the two of you together? Is that right on the church?
I would say that that's not right. I think the head of the church can by all means have their opinion and share that opinion, with the two. But then to refuse them, I think it's just a little... It's quite harsh.
Okay,
really hard.
Viewers and listeners, this is where I need your help again.
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
Chantal is finding this question difficult.
Yeah.
But please, you can call us here in the studios on 079-603-91983. The church, when problems happen in the family, the first set of place or people after your family you go to is your pastor, is the church. And now the church is saying we can see danger in this marriage later in the future, and we are refusing to join this couple together. Was that a right decision, or was it harsh? I want to hear your inputs. What do you have to say to this? Please give us a call here in the studios on 079-603-91983. Thank you very much. Right, Chantal. You are single.
I am.
Do you have any specification on whom to marry? And why?
Do I have any specifications? I think my main specification is that he loves, appreciates and understands all of me.
That is deep, innit? That is quite deep. Yeah. It loves and appreciates all of you, everything that you come with, because we are all packaged.
Yeah.
That package that you are, is it okay? Is it comfortable with it? Why is that? Why does it have to love and accept and appreciate that?
I think for true love to withstand, you have to appreciate and understand and love the whole of that person to understand truly who that person is. I think, obviously there's going to be things that will irritate you about that person. Yeah. But love overtakes an irritation. And I think those three things are just vital in order, as I say, for a love to withstand. If it's not, I don't want a part-time relationship or a part-time love. I want it to be long-standing. No part-timers.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Somebody was saying that, what if the termination is medically prescribed? Parents must be ready for the trauma, the psychological and emotionally breakdown. The child may suffer physical pain, but I believe any loving parent would suffer more than physical pain. That is so true. Ehino said, for me personally, I'll say no. I lost a family member, and I have seen my family and friend member in pain when I was growing up. However, I know a man who is AS and the woman SS. They were in love, got married, and the 2 kids are AS, and they are doing well. But that's always 1 out of 10. That is so true. Thank you very much for that, Ehina. Thank you very much, Pauline Lehman, for joining us this afternoon. Pauline said, I think it's important for people to know the genotypes prior to marriage, so that they know what they are getting into and whether their faith is strong enough to take them through foreseeable challenges. If they agree to proceed with a marriage, the church should not hinder them. Thank you very much for that comment, Pauline Lehman. She said something that I really want to emphasize or underline. She said, is their faith strong enough to carry them through? Sometimes the way God knows what you are able to carry, what your faith can carry, and that's why He's brought this upon you, and He knows what I'm able to bear, and that's why everything I'm going through, you cannot go through it. So that's why we can't compare relationships or families to each other, because if they have a faith that can see them through, they should. Thank you very much for that, Pauline Lehman. Right, this is a bit I don't know what to say.
Oh, go on.
This is the bit that really got to me. I have to say it. When I did my pre-interview with you, Chantal, please, if you haven't shared this video, please help us share this video. If you've not invite people, share this people. Even if you're not watching it, just share it on your wall and go. Because I believe Chantal will be sharing something with us now that is going to set somebody free. It got to me when I did my pre-interview with you. You said to me that you once fall in love, but something happened along the line. Could you please, share with my listeners and my viewers what exactly happened?
What happened was, I had resigned myself to the fact that I wasn't going to have children naturally. Because it was already medical, for medical reasons I wouldn't, be using up the resources that I'm trying to hold on to, which some, may consider that to be selfish, and that's okay. But what myself and my then partner looked at was surrogacy.
Wow.
And it was something that I suppose I kind of more steered, because I knew how important it was for him to have a child that would have, his genes, as well as my genes. It was just a matter of, there being a carrier. And so I did a lot of looking into that, and I went to an event where they had, it was very, very daunting experience. I went to an event where they had IPs, which are intended parents, and the actual people, so that would be like me, basically looking for an IP, an intended parent. And so it was a lot of kind of couples and families, and then these individual women who would carry the child, and we were all kind of, I think it was in a hotel.
Wow.
And it was just people in a room. It was almost a bit like speed dating.
Oh.
It was a very strange situation. I got to hear some amazing stories, which was great. But it felt to be something that I decided, and then obviously shared that information with him, that I don't think I would be that comfortable with doing. The thought of somebody else kind of carrying my child for 9 months and then just handing over, and then they have a period of, I think it's 6 months when that child is still legally the carriers.
Oh.
So they could always step in and be like, oh, well, actually,
I want my child back.
You see, that's when there would be issues. So yeah, there was just little kind of things like that you can dictate, you know, for them to change their diet. You can. There was just it was a large spectrum of things that I initially felt uncomfortable with, and then once I'd explained it to him, he was just like, if this is not what you're comfortable with, and he didn't know how he would feel, you know, after the 9 months, would he still feel that kind of connection?
Yeah.
So that was very difficult, and I suppose not long or too long after that, the relationship had actually ended because he so desperately wanted
a child.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So was sickle cell responsible for your inability of conceiving or having your own child?
Yeah, because the sickle cell and also me having the transplant.
You had a transplant? A transplant of what?
A kidney.
Kidney.
Transplant.
Oh my God.
So, you know, because of the sickle, there was already kind of a lot of risks there with carrying a child. You know, thousands, millions of people with sickle have a child, but it was always just something that I decided I didn't want to go through.
Wow.
And then with my kidneys, because I now only have one kidney, your baby obviously uses your resources as well. And so there never is the guarantee that you would carry, you know, full term. But, you know, to me, I'm even like when I see women that are pregnant, I wouldn't say the words envious, but I think, gosh, wow, like how beautiful, what a blessing, like how lucky you are. I'd want to have as much as I can. Like, I imagine myself to just be like this new Mother Earth who just carries around this beautiful, precious, you know. I feel a bit emotional now, but
I know, it's quite emotional.
Yeah.
So the guy, and that was the only guy you've ever fallen in love with in
that
your
I
life.
wanted to,
and you wanted to spend your life with.
Yeah.
And left because you couldn't.
I mean, it's not, if I can't provide him
what he wants,
with what his absolute heart's desire is, then why would we continue something?
Wow.
You know, he's a beautiful man who, you know, anybody would be very, very lucky to have him in their life, you know. So it's just, you know, that's just how, unfortunately, things kind of work out that way.
You know, listeners and viewers, I want us to take something away from what Chanta is saying. I believe Ahino said this, and I want to, you know, emphasize on it again. Know your genotype before you fall in love, because heartbreaking can be very, very emotional, damaging.
I mean, he didn't have the gene at all, so he was always initially, well, I'm fine, so if anything, they'll have the trait, and I'm like, I can't do that. I can't afford to take that risk with my body and the potential body of a baby.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ruthie, for joining us this afternoon. Please help us share this video, because I believe it's going to help and bless somebody please do not leave it till it is too late. Try and find out your genotype as soon as you think, oh, I kind of have feelings for this guy.
Yeah.
Just knowing will not harm you. You know, even if you don't take it further, just knowing will not harm you.
Yeah.
This is a question that most men, or most, especially African and Asian, African origin, will want to, I want to ask. Will you, I want to ask them, not you.
All right, okay.
Will you marry a woman that cannot give you a child? If you're a man and you're watching us or listening to us this evening, I really want your honest answer. Will you go ahead and marry a woman that you know cannot potentially give you a child? Because some people might be listening now and want to judge your boyfriend and say, why did he leave? I want you to ask yourself that question. Will you be able to stay and spend the rest of your life with a woman when you know fully well that this woman cannot, bear any child? Thank you very much. You also, mentioned that you wanted to go for a surrogacy option. Could you please explain briefly, because some people don't know what surrogacy is, and again, some people don't know what sickle cell disease is as well. Okay. You can, help us define both of them so that for people that are watching will be able to have a better understanding.
So surrogacy is where both the female and the male egg is inserted into your surrogate, and it's then they then will harvest that child, that hopeful child, for the 9 months. Surrogacy would involve all three of you would attend hospital appointments together. And you would kind of have some form of a relationship, as personal or unpersonal as you together choose. So as I was saying before, you can decide on, because you want the best outcome for your child, you can decide that they change their diet. You can decide if you want them to. I know one woman was saying she wanted a surrogate that didn't live near her, so it wasn't people wouldn't see her around, and all of a sudden you've got a child kind of thing. And I know there's also different ways in which the female and the male eggs can be inserted as well. So there's different avenues in which the surrogacy can be carried out, but for me it would have been both the female and the male egg to be medically inserted into the surrogate. Yeah. Okay,
thank you very much. And what is this sickle cell disease that we've been talking about?
Sickle cell. Okay, so sickle cell is we all have obviously red blood cells, and so what they call a normal red blood cell is red and round. It's flexible. It's it's movable. And then a sickle red blood cell is, I've never even seen it. There's an actual instrument called a sickle, not an instrument, what's it called? A tool.
A tool?
Yeah.
Wow.
A tool that's actually the shape of a sickle.
Wow.
It's a kind of a crescent moon shape. Okay. And it's really thick, it's really rigid, it's got no flexibility in it. And so what happens where they call a sickle cell crisis, when the person comes into pain, is when both the normal red blood cells and the sickle cell are travelling through your veins, and especially at your joints, they clog together. Wow. And that's what causes the pain. The oxygen's not able to pass through the oxygen. The oxygen's not able to pass through, the sickle cells and the blood cell. Wow. So that then causes pain. So you don't have enough oxygen running through your body.
I hope you understand that. Yeah. So how do you intend to, as a Christian or as a fellow Christians, how do you, and family member, not just Christian member or church member now, how do you intend to, if that was able to go through the surrogacy, how do you intend to, not to judge you, when they see that, hang on, we didn't see any of a tummy, we didn't see any baby tummy, and she's got a baby. How do you intend that they will? How will you stop the judging?
First of all, you can't stop the judging. If people are going to judge, they're going to judge you anyway. But like I said to you before,
You don't
right
care?
or wrongly, I'm an open book. So anything that I'm going through, anything that I can share my experience with, I will share it. Whether you then want to take that away and put judgment on it or think negatively on it, you're entirely allowed to do that.
Wow,
So,
thank you very much. Sometimes we want to do things and we're scared of what people will say.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I asked that, because obviously people watch and they see things.
Yeah.
And sometimes you think they're not seeing, but they do see. And it's all of a sudden, you said we've got a child. They will question and they'll start judging, and that's why I asked them. Some people might want to do that. That's why I'm asking you that question. When you get to that stage in your life, you wouldn't care what people will say.
Yeah, I think that comes with maturity, but I also think that comes with, I would only be telling like my immediate friends, people who I actually care about and who care about me. So anybody outside of that really is not really.
Thank you very much. So this is out of curiosity now, Chantal. Is it a sin for Christians, to use a surrogacy or a surrogacy mother or a sperm donor? Or are Christians allowed?
I personally don't consider it a sin, and I've never read that it was a sin. And I don't understand why. Maybe I don't know the Bible enough, but I've never come across that particular verse within there that states it is a sin. And so for now, I'm going to say no. If it was to come around and it states that, then I can't refute what he says.
Pauline, I hope you're still on. Can you help us on this question, please? Is it a sin for a lady, in this category to say, I want to go for a surrogacy option or a sperm donor? Is it a sin? Is there anywhere in the Bible? You can help us quote the Bible, please. Pauline Lehman, if you're still watching us, or whoever, is anybody, please, if there's any, you've come across it in the Bible passage, please, we want to hear your views. What do you think? Again, you said you wanted to, or you were considering the adoption option.
Yeah, that's the route I'm going to take.
Is that something you want to take? Would people not see that as being selfish, or
possibly? That's okay.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Because have you ever asked yourself, how do you intend to raise the child? Now your boyfriend is not in your life.
Yeah.
How do you intend to raise that child without a father in his or her life? Or what will you tell that child when he asks you, Mom, where is Daddy? Have you thought about it carefully?
I've thought about it. I grew up in a single parent household. My father passed away when I was very, very young.
Sorry to
it's thank you. So I've grown up in a single parent household, and I've never considered it. Obviously there are times throughout, a daughter's life that she feels that she could have that daddy's kind of guide or advice.
Yeah.
But I had many amazing uncles, many amazing male cousins that I have been able to turn to in those times. So, when I do adopt, and I don't even think that adoption is a selfish thing. I think adoption is one of the most unselfish things you can actually do. To provide a home and love to a child that doesn't have that. I mean, it's bewildering that it would even be, considered a selfish thing to do. But I would tell them, from as young as they're able to understand that they have been adopted, that they had what I call a tummy mummy and a life mummy, and I would be that life mummy, and I would teach them that from as early as they're able to take that on. I have a very, very, very strong family around me that would help me with that. And I would surround my baby with as much love, including male love, as much as I can. But I think that's what any parent, wants to try and provide.
That's so true. Thank you very much for that. I know you were not expecting me to ask you that.
I wasn't, but that's okay.
I just want us to be as real as possible, so that people might be having that notion, that thought of going for adoption, and they are thinking about what people will say.
Yeah.
Again, it's about people judging them, people condemning them. I know I don't advocate for single parent. I don't. But if you find yourself in it, God wants
Sometimes
you.
it
happens. God wants to use that for a purpose in your life. I so much believe in that, because I was raised by a single mom, and I always yearn for my father to be around. I always yearn to have a father figure in my life. I always yearn any guy that comes to my life and say he loves me. I'm always thinking he's my father, or I want him to play the role of a father in my life. So I'm always advocating for parents, for family units, for a man and a woman in the house, and raise the children, to be a better person and to have a bright future. But if you find yourself in that singleness, in that single parenting, so be it. That's what God wants you to be at that time. And if you're planning on adoption, she said something that I really want us to focus on. She said, that's you giving that child a life that they never thought they could have. And that's a very good gift that you can give anybody on this planet. So why will you stop yourself from doing that because of what people will say, because of how people will judge you or condemn you? So please go for it. If that is what the Lord is laying on your heart, please go for it. Thank you very much. And Pauline Lehman. Pauline is saying surrogacy is not a sin. No scripture to contradict my opinion. Yes, if you have any scripture that is contradicting what Pauline Lehman just said, please send this to us and we will read it out. I really want to know, because this is an awareness that we are doing. And again, to encourage, to motivate, and to let people who have got sickle cell to have a beautiful mind towards that situation that they have at hand, that they are not cursed, they are blessing to this world. She has come here to bless us. She is a blessing. You are not a cursed one. So please embrace yourself, celebrate yourself, and rejoice about your gifting, what God has gifted you to do. So please do not bury yourself. Does the childlessness, condition apply to all those suffering, from sickle cell disease? Because some people think, hearing this now, will think, oh, because I'm a carrier or because I have sickle cell, that means I'm not going to have a child. Does that apply to everybody, or is just...
No, definitely not. I know a lot of, families that have sickle and have gone on to have beautiful, amazing families. Some also have, the children will have sickle as well, and some will have the trait, and they live their lives as best that they can. That doesn't, it doesn't cancel out, the possibility. It doesn't make them unable to carry children. It was just a choice that I had made many years ago.
Wow. When did you make that choice?
It was, it was through having many years of many stays in a hospital bed.
Wow.
And just seeing the pain in my mother's eyes. I believe I was saying to her on the phone, your mum's the one that comes in and kind of sweeps you up and protects you.
Yeah.
And looking at my mum and that agony that she had written all over her face, that she couldn't do that for her daughter. I couldn't then put that on my child. I couldn't bear to then see my child go through that. And my mum didn't know that she had the sickle cell trait. My dad they knew that they would consider to have bad blood in Jamaica. Nearly 60 years ago. Sorry, called out your age. But it was, it was just bad blood, and it wasn't even a thing that was discussed until she came and had me, and it wasn't until I was diagnosed with sickle that mum knew herself. So I just think she's never said that to me, but I feel she's possibly felt a guilt of carrying a child that she didn't know what the implications would be, further down the line. Even in terms of me having the transplant, my mum was unable to even be considered a donor because she has the trait.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it just carries a lot of implications that I personally wasn't prepared to partake in, really.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have not shared this video, please help us share this video, because I believe it's going to help somebody this afternoon. You know, and again, I don't think having a child is a do or die affair. I don't think every one of us will have a child. You know, like she said, if you adopt one, you are giving that child a life, you know, and you're being a mother to that child. So do you have regular pain even now that you are an adult? Because some people say that, you know, it gets better as you know, as you get older. Is that the case?
Yeah, I found that some people there will have their sickle will affect them either more during childhood and less in adulthood, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I can definitely say in my childhood it was definitely worse.
Okay.
I would say in my adulthood it's been more. So I'm still in pain on a daily basis.
Wow.
That doesn't go. But it just means that, and I don't know if that's with maturity, I learned to manage my pain a lot better. My consultant, and I think that's one of the main things with sickle, is constantly being in contact with you know, with your GP and with your consultant, making sure you are on the right medications. And so I know I'm on a very good regime of medication, that I'm able to manage that, fortunately. And what's been more of the issue for me, especially in the past 4 or 5 years, has been the kidneys. And so kind of trying to work with both the sickle and the kidneys hasn't been easy, but again, it's just something, it's a learning curve, and we're learning as we go along.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. So have you ever been treated differently by your family, friends, fellow Christian members, you know, co-workers, you know, because of what we've discussed or what you're going through?
I wouldn't say I've been treated differently by... Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I've been treated differently by my family. I've been treated differently by my mother, I would say.
Over pampering you.
Yeah.
Showing you too much love.
Yeah. It's just... cannot even be put into words. Yeah, so I'm definitely... there's a term, I don't know how global a term is, but she calls me her wash belly, which I think basically means my baby, like my final baby kind of thing. And I'm like, Mum, I'm 38, like, you know, I'm not really a baby.
I'm not really a baby.
Yeah. So definitely by my mum, but I think my family, immediate friends, because I'm really quite chill with it. They've never seen me in pain. I kind of will separate myself kind of when I'm in that pain, because I think I have a thing of not wanting people to see me when I'm vulnerable. So they've never kind of seen me in a crisis. If I'm in hospital, sometimes I'll try and do it without my family even knowing that I'm in hospital, which I think is quite a selfish thing, because they've not been able to understand how much the sickle cell affects me. And I'm the only one within my family that has it. So that's kind of one of the things I wish I would have thought about. Yeah, definitely. And I think with co-workers, it's the same. As I think because I look well, that they're not kind of pandering to me or anything like that, which is what I would honestly prefer. I think whenever I've gone into a workplace or you know, just started at uni as a mature student, I've made, you know, the relevant people aware of what my condition is, and that's it. Yeah.
One of the challenges that sickle cell disease sufferers have to face is stigma, and this is something that we go against on our show. So I can understand it. You know, you're being careful not to allow everybody into your life or into your ward. What would your advice be to somebody that is being stigmatized because of sickle cell disease?
I mean, I don't. How do you put a stigma on somebody that has a condition that they never asked for? Like, it's not something that they've decided,
I want to have this.
Suffer for the rest of my life on purpose. Like, if anything, it should be like, wow, you're an amazing individual, not to put that kind of, don't stigmatise a person. I just don't kind of understand how that happens. And I think the only way that you as an individual, if you actually care that much about the stigma that other person's put on you, is just try and change that person's opinion. By just being who you are. If you're a beautiful individual, then continue being that beautiful individual, and just showing that there is nothing, that you need to. Don't concern yourself with what I'm going through. Like, I'm good.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. Stigma is everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're beautiful, you have a stigma on you. If you're not, you have a stigma. It's everywhere. And you've not wished for it, like Chantel said. You didn't ask for that, But God has a purpose why He's allowing you to go through that. So please, 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 if you're being stigmatized, let that person that is placing that stigma on you doesn't have the awareness of what that thing is. You need to educate them and let them know all about this, and maybe you will change their mindset from that. Thank you very much. So how can you keep a job? You didn't mention about co-work. How can you keep a job? Because I know some employers, when you're constantly sick, they will ask you why and ask you to stay at home. Some will lay you off. How are you being able to keep down a job?
It's ridiculously difficult. I used to work in childcare, and that was a job that I had to kind of stop, because as much as I love children and working with children, it was at the time when I started to get debilitating leg pain, and so kind of playing with the children, going on day trips and things like that, it was just taking it out of me completely. And I was already on very strong painkillers, which just makes you feel very bizarre. Anyway, and my manager at that time was so understanding. And she knew about my sickle cell initially, and so she was amazing with it. I don't know if she fully kind of understood it, but then that's not a bad thing, because I don't always fully understand my sickle, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. So that's I had to let that job go. I then worked in apprenticeship recruitment, which was lovely. It was a desk job, so it was a lot easier in terms of that. But then what happened was the kidney failure started to come into play with that one. And so I worked right up until August, and then I was on dialysis in the November. So I really pushed myself as far as I can. I'm not that person that will be like, I'm sick, so I'll just stay. It's not good. It's an awful feeling, both kind of mentally it really attacks you, really attacks you, and physically. And I'm that person that just kind of likes to use my brain and just to be doing something. And so unfortunately I've not been able to work, because I'm still in the hospital every week with my kidneys. And what employer is going to take on somebody who needs to take that much time? So it has been very difficult. It's not that it's not doable. It's definitely doable, I think, if you have an understanding team, if you have an understanding manager. And what I've always done as well is spoken to the boss initially and let them know what's happening as well. That's very important, actually.
Thank you very much. Coupled with everything that you're going through, the pain constantly in hospital, not able to keep a job that you really love, that you desire. Somebody wants to know, and they're asking this question: can sickle cell disease be cured? No. So that person will be like that for the rest of their lives.
They are constantly doing studies, and there's a lot of research into it. And there is hopefully there will be a cure, which consists of, I think it's the bone marrow transplant, but they were saying the chemotherapy that they would also use within that procedure was too strong. And so it wasn't always a successful outcome. So they are constantly working, towards
Research.
towards getting a cure for sickle. And so they're looking at stem cell transplants and that kind of thing. So I do definitely believe that there will become a cure. But at the moment, it's medication and
Thank God.
you know.
Thank you very much for that. So again, this is something that people want to know. How do you deal with loneliness as a single woman? How do you cope?
Do you know, I don't suffer loneliness.
Wow.
I don't know if that's because I'm quite happy in my own company. So yeah, loneliness is not really a thing that I've really experienced. And the moment that starts to creep in, you know, it's around to my family. You know, my mum lives quite close to me. My sister lives close. My aunties live close. So, you know, that I either keep myself occupied at home, you know, when I'm not able to go out, or I will be kind of with my friends or with my family. Loneliness, I just don't like any kind of negative thoughts or negative mindset to enter. So as soon as it starts to creep in, it's not allowed.
Wow. Thank you.
Just not
I think you're very rare being.
Really?
Seriously, you are so, probably because you've accepted who you are.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things will get easier in life if we can just accept us,
it.
you know, for who we are, rather than forcing the hand of God, or trying to compare ourselves with other people and thinking, why can't I be that person? Why can't I have the life they have? I think that's when loneliness would start creeping in. And you mentioned something again, that you surround yourself with family members, you know, your friends. You have, if you're feeling bored or something, you just you know somewhere to go. And that's why is, you know, I would just advocate that please do not be isolated. Don't be lonely. Just look for people around you. It's always good to have this family bond. And that's why I'm so happy that I'm from Africa, because our family bond is just so good and unique. And you know, you can just call one auntie or uncle, you know, they will always be there. So please, always network with people that will know, will uplift your spirit and will take it to that next level that you want to be. Thank you very much, Paul Oshupo, for all the way from Nigeria, for joining us this afternoon. Bolade Fayemi, thank you very much for joining us. I do really appreciate your time. Please, if you're just joining us today, please help us share this video, because I believe it's going to help somebody out there. So where does your support and your inspiration comes from? You know, when these challenges, when you feel the pain, when you are in the hospital, you know, when it looks like, oh God, it has come again, you know, where does the inspiration comes from?
My inspiration comes from God, first of all.
Okay.
I think, like I said before, He doesn't, or I think it was yourself that said before, He doesn't give you more than you can bear. So as awful, as horrendous as the pain is, and as much as I feel like I can't take it anymore, it's only been put upon me because I can deal with it.
Wow.
So I might be crying, I might be screaming, you know, but I know that there will become a time when that will cease, and that's a blessing. You know, it's a blessing, and there's nothing wrong with being tested, even if it is with pain. There's nothing wrong with that. I think where I get my main, you know, kind of support is, again, from, you know, my immediate friends and family, and then there's also a charity that I get a lot of support from as well, and they come into the hospital, and it's a group of people who already have, you know, the sickle condition as well, and that's sickle cell care, and so that they've been amazing, and I've been volunteering with them for a few years, so they've been a massive help for me.
You know, Chantal, you are a very beautiful girl, and you look so happy in your own skin. And I asked that question because I believe that some people or somebody out there might just be watching or come across this video and will say, what's her secret? I just want to know. I wish I can just be as happy as she is.
Do you know, if my family would call me happy, because I'm quite miserable.
You're not miserable.
I can be quite miserable when I'm ready to be, I should say. I just, like, why would you want to not be happy? And I understand that some people, you know, you'll have your depression and you can't help but feel that way, but I think it's important to put things in place that don't allow you to get to that stage.
To that state. That's it.
So yeah, I think that's what it is for me. And I think just that mindset as well. I think sometimes there is an extent where you choose to be happy and
That's
you can
it.
choose to be sad, and I choose to be happy and as positive as I possibly can
Thank
be.
you. Thank you for mentioning that. That's the key. Happiness is a choice.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you might be going through, you have the key, you have the power. You have the choice to choose to be happy or to remain sad and be looking at what you're going through. I'm not saying those things are not real. I'm not saying the pain is not there. But I'm saying even in the pain, you can still choose to be happy. Please choose happiness today.
Yeah.
You know, I received this from a little boy and I want to read it. He said, I am limited in what I can do at school, says a child who has been managing his disease as long as she can remember. Sometimes I am in a lot of pain and I don't feel like anyone else. Chantal, based on your own experience, what advice would you give to this child and the mother?
I think all you need to put in that is this little girl, because that's exactly, you know, how I felt and sometimes still feel, admittedly. You know, I think you, as a child, you just want to do everything else that your friends
are
do.
doing, yeah.
And it's really difficult to kind of have to sit back and watch them play while you're sat in pain. It's very difficult. And I remember that as a child myself in school, like watching my friends all play with snowballs, and Chantal can't do that because she would then have what they call a sickle cell crisis and would end up in hospital. So I think especially what my mum taught me was the reason you can do these things, but understand that this is what may happen if you do them. And saying that now, it almost sounds like scaremongering or whatever they call it, but that's the reality. And I think the sooner you accept that that's possibly, unfortunately, your reality, then I think the easier it becomes to manage it and you get to know what your abilities are.
Thank you very much. So does it affect, any race in particular? Because some people believe it's a black man diseases.
Right.
That it doesn't affect any other race apart from black race. Is that true?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's not a black condition. It affects. There's been cases shown in Australia, specifically in the Mediterranean. So we're looking like around Greece. So it's basically any races that are over the southern hemisphere, because and it has something to do with the malaria. There's a whole science thing that goes behind it, and I can't remember the exact science behind it. But yeah, it's definitely not just a black condition. We found actually within the hospital, because I work a lot within the hospital as well, is we'll have students coming over from Ireland that have the condition of mixed race heritage, but coming from Ireland, and we've never really experienced that before. Something that's in like the past 2 or 3 years. But yeah, so you've got Asia, Australia, Greece, Italy, that are also affected, and it's not just black people from those areas.
So you're saying it can affect anyone. So how can a sickler be convinced of God's love, Chantal? Somebody is watching now and they are suffering they have this condition, and they feel like God doesn't love them. How can you convince them, or how can they be convinced that God loves them?
I think, first of all, for me, I don't call it suffering. I'm just living with sickle cell. I think suffering again is just such a negative word, and I don't have any kind of negative words connected to me. And I'd love for people to take that away as well. Like, you're living with it. It's not great, but you're living with it. What was the other part of your question?
How can they be convinced that God loves them?
Because you're here. Like, he allowed for you to come on this earth. Like, is that not love enough? You know, his son, you know, he gave his son for you to land on this earth. So how can he possibly not? Like, that, is that not just the biggest, like, show of, I love you? Like, yeah.
God loves you. That's what Chantal is saying, regardless of what your condition is, what that challenge, what that tribulations, what that grace, you know, what that thing that you are going through. She's saying that God loves you, and I'm echoing that. God loves you, and
He will equip you.
And loves you. He has written your name on His palm. So please embrace God's love today. A fan sent this in. I am 29. 29. I am 35 this year, and my boyfriend is 40. We have been together for almost a year now, and in a long-distance relationship. He has spoken to me about marriage, but we are in a difficult situation. He has sickle cell, meaning his genotype is SS and my genotype is AS. And because of where we come from, my parents and his parents would never allow us to marry. The thing is, they don't understand what true love is. I love him truly, and he loves me truly. The only way he can marry me is if God heals him. How do I pray that God will hear our prayers? And what do I do? And what should he do? We are both Christians.
Okay, so I don't know if this is like such a strange concept, but if two people love each other, and they really and they've prayed about it, and they still cannot possibly fathom a life of not being together. Does that necessarily mean that they then have to have a child naturally together?
But
that's the best case scenario. You know, that you love each other so much. You know that he has the sickle gene, you have and so, you know, the best case, or one of the case scenarios would be that you wouldn't marry because
you can have children.
Because you can't have children.
But
or
I don't think
have children.
But I don't think you marrying somebody is just because of having children.
No, exactly.
It's one of it. It's part of it.
Yeah.
And it's necessary. But I don't think that you should base your marrying somebody just on because that person can have child with me.
Exactly.
I might be wrong, and if you're watching us or listening to us, you know, you can prove me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think I want to marry somebody just because I want to be able to have child with that person. I believe love is more than that. Marrying somebody is more than just having children with that person. So I don't know, maybe from what they're saying, I don't think that's the only reason.
So what else was their reason for that?
Maybe they don't want the woman to be spending most of her time in the hospital, because if the guy is SS, you know, you'll be having crises.
But that's partnership. That's partnership. Like,
I understand.
You're having to not always go, you know, it's not always going to be running through, you know, the roses, and life unfortunately isn't always like that. And so when there are those downs, you do those downs together. I don't know, maybe I have, that's my opinion.
Right. We've come to the end of today's show. Thank you very much, Chantal, for joining us. And Oluwakemi, thank you very much for joining us. She's saying easier said than done, dear. What do you mean by that? We wanted to expatiate more on that for us. What is easier said? Is it about having child in it or not? not just being there because of the pain. I want you to expatiate more on that, please, if you don't mind. Thank you very much for joining us. Are there any support groups out there, for people, living with this condition?
The support group that I volunteer with is Sickle Cell Care Manchester.
Okay.
And they've been amazing for me and for my family. And they're an organisation that looks after not just those that have the condition, but looks out for the carers of those that have the condition as well. So, even if it's just to come round and have a chat and see how you're doing, if it's to come into the hospital, make sure that you're getting the correct treatment. Because I know sometimes, as a patient, you don't want to be, bothering the nurses. So we can be kind of that pathway to that. We're just trying to make people feel comfortable in their situation. And that's what our aim is for other people that have sickle.
Oh, thank you very much. And I believe there are other support groups out there that you can connect with. All we're saying this evening is please do not suffer in silence. If you have anybody with this condition, or you are living with it as well, please, you can get in touch with Beautiful Mind, and I would definitely signpost you to the right support group that can support you, that can give you the right advice, or just being there or chatting with you, or when you're in the hospital they can help you. Please do get in touch with us. Thank you very much, Oluwakemi. She's saying, knowing you won't have a child, there is nothing wrong in marrying a sickler. Thank you very much. There is nothing wrong in marrying a sickler. And Chantel here, she made that decision that she wasn't going to have a child because she saw what her mother went through, and she's experiencing, she's living with this condition as well. And she said to herself, she doesn't want to bring a child to this world to go through that same pain that she's going through, or she doesn't want to be in that situation, in that position that her mother was. So she said to herself, she wouldn't have a child. Is that a choice that you have to make as well as a woman? That might just be what you... And who says you can't live a normal life without a child?
Yeah.
Please do not die in silence, or do not think that's the end of the world if you don't have a child. People are living on earth without children, and they're living a successful life. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I do really appreciate you. Today's event, today's show has been sponsored by Gracious Apparel Boutique, and they are in Manchester, and you can contact them on 0161 205 4518. Like this, if you want to get one of these, you can get it from there. Isn't this nice? Yes, they supply these for the guys. They have something for the guys as well, a nice tie. You can get them at affordable prices. And another bow tie for your evening. Grey Jill is organizing an event, and if you need something for that event, you can just come for this. That is so beautiful. And a very good leather belt bag, Italian leather, all at affordable prices. And this Italian bag, as well, as a lady, you want to carry something that you will use for a very long time. You don't want to be going back to the shop to buy different bags. You can contact them, Gracious Apparel Boutique in Manchester, and they will supply all your actual care for you, for your wedding, for your occasion, any occasion that you have, they will supply it. This is beautiful. In fact, I will leave it on. I love this. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. New Covenant Church, Manchester, they're also inviting you to the Quest of a Lifetime, and it is with Dr. Reverend Dr. Paul Ginodu. Yes, he is the GO of New Covenant Church, Manchester, and the workshops will be on strategies for personal and church financial freedom. I believe a lot of church want to learn about financial freedom. Why don't you come along? And opportunities in the third sector, essential requirements for successful Christian missions and church planting. And the dates are the 24th of September, 4 to 9 p.m. on the 22nd of September, 10 to 5 p.m. and on the 23rd of September, 10 a.m. to 12:30. And the venue is at number 1 Matthews Lane, Levenshulme, Manchester, M12 4QW. That's at New Covenant Church. And this event is being put together by the host, Reverend and Pastor Mrs. Esther Oludipe. Please plan to be there. It promises to be a very good event. HPG Media invited to their Youth Vibes. They are presenting before and after I say I do. This is an event that has been put together by the youth. So please come this Saturday again. Manchester, aren't you blessed? The 22nd of September 2018, and the time is 4 to 8 p.m. And you will have pastors Tim and Shola Oladipo and Adeze, our Adeze here, and Pastor Yomi Obadimeji of Strong Tower Parish, Manchester. Before you go through the good and the bad and ugly period in marriage, come and learn about it. And you can contact 079. I don't think I can see the number here. Please contact me for more details about this event. And the venue is at number 23 to 279 Oldham Road, Manchester, M40 2EB. Thank you very much for being part of today's show. I do really appreciate you. Until next week, that I will be bringing another informative and educative topic your way. I remain your host, Adeyinka Adeomi. Thank you very much, Chantal. Thank you, AY, the ambassador of Beam TV, for I believe.